Hello students, in the NCERT series, we are having the chapter today, A Question of Trust from our book Footprints Without Feet. So, we will discuss about the theme of the chapter, summary of the chapter and NCERT questions at the back of the chapter. We will discuss them also. So, let's start. First of all, what is the theme of this chapter? Actually, the theme of this chapter is depending on honor among thieves. The central theme of the story is about honor among thieves. Trust is very important among thieves or companions of all sort of criminal activities. A very cunning and intelligent thief also can be fooled only by cheating. This chapter proves that a lack of trust in a team or organization can bring destructive consequences. It is said that people should be honest in criminal activities. They should be honest among themselves. But what happens when a person cheats on other belonging to the same profession? Then what happens? And what the cheated person feel? The feeling is expressed in this chapter. So, let's know about the introduction to this story. Actually, this is the story about Horace Danby, who is 50 years old. He is a locksmith and he is doing well in his business. He has reputation in society and is it true that he is completely honest? No, he is not honest. He is a thief. Everyone around him thinks he is a good and an honest man, but he is not completely honest. He is a thief. He robs a safe every year to buy rare and expensive books. This year, when he goes to a house for robbery, he meets a woman who pretends to be the owner of the house. Later, when he is arrested, he comes to know the truth of the lady. The lady was also a thief who cheated on Horace Danby. So, let's have the summary of this chapter. Let's have the complete summary of this chapter. What is the story of this chapter? We will read it in a summarized way. So, the story is about a 50-year-old man, Horace Danby, who makes locks and lives with his housekeepers. He is a good citizen but not an honest one, as he commits a robbery every year. He plans his robberies in such a way that the money he gets from there lasts him for at least an year, and he is able to buy rare and expensive books with it. He buys these books because he is really fond of collecting rare and expensive books. He plans to commit a robbery at a grange named Shotover Grange. He takes all the information about the house, like where the family had gone. The family had gone to London. How many servants were there in the house? What does the name of the dog? The wiring in the house, the safe in the house, and even information like how much worth of jewels were there in the safe. The real twist in the story comes when he reaches the grange to commit a robbery and a woman claiming to be the owner's wife enters. She gives him an option that she will forget that she had seen him if he opens the safe for her, as she has forgotten the code of the safe and has to go to a party. He does not realize that he is opening the safe for another thief and that she is not the actual owner of the house. He lives happily thinking that he is safe, but doesn't realize the fact that he had opened the safe for someone else, that too without wearing his gloves. 3 days later, a police officer comes and arrests him, saying that his fingerprints had been found at the Chateau Grange. He then realizes that he had been fooled by a lady who was herself a thief and from the same background as his. He is sent to the jail and becomes an assistant librarian. He feels angry whenever someone talks about honor among thieves, as he had been cheated by one from his own community. So this is the summary of this chapter. Horace Denby is a cunning person. He is an intelligent person. He is smart. He is reputed person in the society. But he is cheated. He was fooled only by cheating. So this was the summary of the chapter. Now let's talk about the NCERT questions in the chapter. So on the very first page of the story, on page number 20, there are some questions. There are two questions before we started reading the story. So let's solve these questions. Question number 1. What does Horace Denby like to collect? So the answer is Horace Denby likes to collect rare and expensive books. He was fond of books and he has hired some agents to get the books, and to those agents he has to pay high amount, a very huge amount. So he was involved in thievery. Why does he steal every year? This is the second question. He stole every year so that he could buy the rare and expensive books that he loved to collect. Each year he planned carefully so as to steal enough to last 12 months. It was his rule that he robbed only once in a year. Now, after reading the first part of the story, on page number 22 we have two questions in the category of read and find out. So the first question is, who is speaking to Horace Denby? So the answer is, a lady standing in the doorway is speaking to Horace Denby. She was young and pretty and was dressed in red. She said she had come just in time or else her family would have been robbed by Horace. Thus, she pretended to be one of the members of the family living at Shotover Grange. The lady who was a thief. Now, question number 4. Who is the real culprit in the story? The real culprit in the story is the woman who pretended to be a member of the family living at Shotover Grange. She tricked Horace Denby into believing her and cleverly took away all the jewels that were kept in the safe. So these were the questions, those are asked in the story, and after the story, after the chapter, we have NCERT questions in the category of think about it and talk about it. So let's discuss about the questions. Think about it on page number 25. The first question is, did you begin to suspect before the end of the story that the lady was not the person Horace Denby took her to be? If so, at what point did you realize this and how? So इस क्वेश्चन का मतलब है, क्या आपको लगता है कि शुरुआत में ही मतलब कि स्टोरी के एंड से पहले क्या आपको महसूस हुआ कि वो जो लेडी थी उसको आपने क्या पहले ही जज कर लिया था हॉरेस डेनबी से पहले, दैट द लेडी वाज नॉट द पर्सन हॉरेस डेनबी टुक हर टू बी? हॉरेस डेनबी को लगा कि वो घर की ऑनर है, बट क्या रीडर को स्टोरी पढ़ते हुए लग जाता है कि ये हॉरेस डेनबी गलत समझ रहा है, वो ऑनर नहीं है, वो कोई और लेडी है? और अगर आपको ऐसा लगता है तो किस पॉइंट पर आपको ऐसा लगा? सो this is an opinion based question and it is your choice that you answer in yes or no. You can answer in yes, you can answer in no, and it should be a detailed answer and it should be justified. If your answer is yes, then there should be logic that why you think that a reader has pre-assumed that whatever the Horace Denby is thinking is not right. If you are saying yes, then you should give a detailed answer. You should prove yourself and your answer should be justified. You can also answer in no, and in the same way your answer should be justified. So in opinion based questions, the choice goes on you and it depends on your intelligence. So the answer is, here we are answering in yes, we are answering in affirmation. We begin to suspect before the end of the story that the lady was not the person Horace Denby took her to be. She was usually calm on seeing Horace. This seemed strange when she did not call the police and instead asked Horace to take out all the jewels from the safe. Even if it meant breaking it open, it seemed suspicious. Moreover, it seemed highly unlikely that she would forget the number combination to open the safe. Therefore, it was evident before the story ended that the lady was not the person Horace had taken her to be. Actually, जब हॉरेस की चोरी पकड़ी गई तो वो काफ़ी डर गया. जब सामने उसके लेडी आ गई तो वो काफ़ी घबरा गया और घबराहट में इंटेलिजेंस थोड़ी कम हो जाती है. तो उस वक्त वो काफ़ी डर गया था, घबरा गया था, इसलिए उसने उस लेडी को फटाफट से समझ लिया कि घर की मालकिन ही है. और उस लेडी ने इस तरह से एक्ट किया था, वो इतनी इंटेलिजेंट थी कि वो सक्सेसफुल हो गई अपने आप को ये दिखाने में कि वो घर की ऑनर है. तो हम ये कह सकते हैं कि घबराहट की वजह से उस वक्त हॉरेस डेनबी बेवकूफ़ बनता चला गया. वो नहीं समझ पाया कि ये लेडी पुलिस को कॉल क्यों नहीं कर रही है, ये इतनी बातें क्यों कर रही है, ये घबरा क्यों नहीं रही है, और एक घर की ऑनर होते हुए भी ये सेफ का कॉम्बिनेशन कोड कैसे भूल सकती है. ये सब वो नहीं सोच पाया. बट एक रीडर जो होता है वो एक रिलैक्स मूड में स्टोरी को पढ़ता है तो वो शायद अंदाज़ा लगा सकता है स्टोरी को पढ़ते हुए कि नहीं, ये लग रहा है कि ये लेडी ऑनर नहीं है. So we have given the answer in affirmation. Now question number 2, what are the subtle ways in which the lady manages to deceive Horace Denby into thinking she is the lady of the house? Why doesn't Horace suspect that something is wrong? Horace Denby क्यों assume नहीं कर पाया, क्यों वो decide नहीं कर पाया कि कुछ गलत चल रहा है, और लेडी ने हॉरेस डेनबी को किस तरह से बेवकूफ़ बनाया, उसने उसको धोखा देने में कैसे सक्सेसफुल रही. सो द आंसर इज द लेडी वॉज इन कॉन्फिडेंस. हर कॉन्फिडेंट वॉक, हर familiarity with the dog Sherry, her act of touching up her makeup, and the ease with which she picks a cigarette from the right place are enough to deceive anybody. Horace was too frightened to think properly, so he didn't suspect anything. As we discussed earlier, Horace was very frightened, so she was not in the situation to think properly, and the lady was successful in befooling him. So this was the answer. Question number 3, Horace Denby was good and respectable but not completely honest. Why do you think this description is apt for Horace? Why can't he be categorized as a typical thief? हॉरेस डेनबी जो था वो एक टिपिकल थीफ नहीं था, यानी कि एक लालची थीफ नहीं था जो चोरियां करता रहता है और जिसको अपनी रेपुटेशन की परवाह नहीं होती, वो मेंटेन करके चल रहा है. ही इज मेंटेनिंग हिज सोशल लाइफ, his social reputation, he is doing a good business, an honorable business, but he is involved in theft. So हमें ऐसा क्यों लगता है कि वो एक टिपिकल थीफ नहीं था? So Horace's habits were not typical of a thief. He was fond of books. He used to steal only once in a year, so he was never stealing more than his needs. However, an act of theft is still a crime, no matter how well a thief behaves, so this description is apt for Horace. He can't be categorized as a typical thief because he is not a regular offender like other thieves. So this is the answer. He was not greedy. He was a cunning person, an intelligent person who was involved in thievery only to fulfill his requirements, only to fulfill his love towards the books, towards the rare and expensive books. He was robbing only to fulfill this need. He was not doing other things with the money he was getting from robbery. So he was not like other thieves. Number 4, Horace Denby was a meticulous planner, but still he faltered. Where did he go wrong and why? वो एक अच्छा प्लानर था, फिर भी उससे गलती हुई. उससे गलती कहाँ पर हुई और क्यों हुई? Horace Denby failed to get enough information about the real occupants of the house. He seems to be too occupied with collecting information about the house map, wiring and location of valuable items. Although he was smart enough to know the dog's actual name, he overlooked getting information about the occupants of the house. When he landed in trouble with the appearance of the young lady, his clever mind gave way to carelessness, leading him to open the safe without wearing gloves. वो इतना reluctant हो गया कि जब उसको पता चल गया कि घर की उसको जब ऐसा लग गया कि घर की ऑनर है और घर की ऑनर ही चाहती कि मैं अब सेफ को तोड़ दूं और ज्वेलरी निकाल कर उसको दे दूं, तो वो बिल्कुल बेपरवाह हो गया. तब उसने सारे प्रिकॉशंस वगैरह सब छोड़ दिए और अपने ग्लव्स भी उतार दिए और फिर उसने सेफ को ब्रेक किया. और इसी गलती की वजह से, यही उसकी सबसे बड़ी गलती थी कि उसने ग्लव्स उतार दिए थे. इसी गलती की वजह से वो बाद में पकड़ा गया. Now talk about it questions on page number 25. Do you think Horace Denby was unfairly punished or that he deserved what he got? So again it is an opinion based question. Now it is on you how you answer it. क्या आपको लगता है कि उसको गलत तरीके से पनिश किया गया? और क्या आपको लगता है कि हाँ उसने जो काम किया उसी का उसको रिजल्ट मिला? आपको क्या लगता है? So the answer is, it is rather difficult to assess whether Horace Denby was unfairly punished or that he deserved what he got. No doubt he entered the house with the intention of burglarizing the house. He had made elaborate plans to commit that theft, and theft is after all theft and must be punished. चोरी आखिर चोरी होती है और उसका रिजल्ट भुगतना पड़ता है. But things don't end here. What is more important to consider is the fact whether he went away with anything from the house or not. In the end, he helped the young lady in the red and handed over all the jewels to her. He happily left the house without taking anything from there. Doing so, his intention was genuine and honest. He opened the safe genuinely, thinking that the lady in the red was the lady of the house. He opened the safe without his gloves, which reflected only his honest intention. Hence, his punishment was quite unfortunate and unfair. We can also say that he didn't harm the lady. उसने कहीं lady को नुकसान नहीं पहुंचाया. There the lady was alone and he could harm the lady dangerously, but he didn't do so. It is also telling that somewhere he was a balanced person, he was a good person. Number 2, do intentions justify actions? Would you, like Horace Denby, do something wrong if you thought your ends justified the means? Do you think that there are situations in which it is excusable to act less than honesty? क्या आपको लगता है कहीं कहीं पे थोड़ा सा डिसऑनेस्टी चलती है? क्या आपको लगता है कि आपकी जो सोच है वही आपके काम को, वही आपके एक्शंस को जस्टिफाई करती है? सो द आंसर इज सर्टेनली intentions justify actions. Sometimes it happens that a wrong is committed while the intention was honest and fair. In such cases, the courts of justice do count the intentions of the doer. In this case, Horace's intention when he entered the house was to commit a theft. Hence, no court would condemn his actions. However, when he opened the safe without his gloves and handed over all the jewels to the young lady in red, his intention was honest and fair, and this can't be ignored and justice must be done accordingly. However, it is not excusable if one acts less than honesty. At least Horace Denby should be punished because he made an illegal entry in the absence of the owner of the house. चाहे जो भी हॉरिस ने जो किया था वो गलत ही था. So चाहे वो थोड़ा ठीक आदमी था, सही आदमी था, लेकिन फिर भी उसको पनिश किया जाना एक सही बात थी. It was justified. So we have solved all the questions, NCERT questions. We have had the summary, the theme of the chapter. So I hope you have enjoyed it in a good manner. Thank you very much.